Okay, now as we have already gone through cleaning the data and performing the basic descriptive statistics on the different variables, the next step will be to, before we go to the advanced analysis using the SPSS, is to check the normality of our data. Because as you know, some of the tests assume that these data or the particular data or the particular variable you are dealing with is normally distributed. If this assumption is not met or violated, the result will be invalid or it will not even be able to be processed. So it's important before you go beyond this step and going to the advanced statistical analysis is to check the distribution of your continuous data. Like for example, the age, the I have here the sleep quality. It is a scale. So basically any variable which has a scale measure which is continuous, it has to be checked for normality. Okay, and how to check for this normality? We have many ways to do this. One of these is to go to analyze descriptive statistics and then to go to explore, and from here I can just put the age. I will go to statistics. I just want the descriptive statistics. I can also choose the outliers and I can choose the percentiles and go to plots. I will choose the histogram and I will tick this one, normality plots with tests. Okay, now we have, this is the summary of the descriptives of the variable, which is the age as I chose it. Now the mean age we have is 21 and this is the confidence interval for that. We have here the median, we have the standard deviation, we have the maximum and the minimum, and also we have the other measures of the percentiles, and we have the range, and anything you would like to do it, you can find it here on the descriptives. Now the plot is like this. We have this histogram. Now from looking into this chart, can you tell whether it is normally distributed or not? Yeah, actually, yes. You can just by looking into it see that it is near normally distributed. But is it really normally distributed or not? We can't tell until we do the testing for that, because this is a subjective way to assess the normality, but it won't work always with you because it differs from one to one. That's why it is important to have an objective measure of normality and on testing it. So we have this test, which is Shapiro-Wilk test of normality. It is basically an assumption, like any null hypothesis. The null hypothesis here is that the age of this variable is not different from normal distribution. This is the assumption, this is the null hypothesis. The age, which is our variable here, is not different from normal distribution. Now we can see here the significance of this assumption, which is the alpha level. It is 0.0000. It's clearly less than 0.05, which is the standard or the commonly used alpha level for the significance. That means we will reject the null hypothesis, which is saying that age is not different from the normal distribution. That means after we reject it, it is different from the normal distribution. So in another way, whenever you see the Shapiro-Wilk test is significant, that means the variable you have used is not normally distributed. To clarify this, I will show you another chart with the normal level. Here it is the histogram, and we can clearly see that most of the data are outside this curve. To be called normally distributed, it must be under the curve. But you can see here that most of the data are falling outside this curve. That means it is not equally distributed, or it's not normally distributed. Now, will this make a difference when you do the analysis? Actually, yes, because as I told you before, some tests assume that the data is normally distributed in that particular variable. So if this assumption is violated, you will not be able to go to that particular test. That's why it's important to do the normality testing before going to advanced statistics. And don't depend on just visualizing the histogram, because it's not always clear. Here in this example, it's clear that most of the data are falling outside the curve. But sometimes the data will look like they are under the curve and they are distributed normally. But we can't judge unless we do the Shapiro-Wilk test and we check the significance of it. If it is significant, that means it is not normally distributed. If it is more than 0.05, not significant alpha, that means the data is normally distributed. Okay?